Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As you all know, we normally do our shows on Wednesday, but because I love my co host today, Andrea Dean Van Scoyoc, we did it on Thursday afternoon just because we can. That's how we roll here. I'm your host, Yvonne Mason, and today my co host is Andrea. And there's so many things that we are going to talk about today. First and foremost, before we talk about the egalities of some of these sites out here that are pirating our books. Andrea's book, Welcome to Crowhaven Chapel, is now available for pre order on Kindle. And please, ladies and gentlemen, this is important. And Andrea will also back me up. This is very important to Andrea, and it's very important to the Christian Goth community because this may be the only way some of these folks are reached. Remember, God does not see the outer man, He sees the inner man. The book goes live both in Kindle, paperback, and hardback on the 15th, and Andrea, it goes live on Audible. After it goes live on Kindle, I will turn around and bring it up on Audible, and then it should be live within the next 8 or 9 hours, if not sooner. As soon as it goes live on Audible, I will let you know. But it is important, folks, if you know someone or if you are of the goth community, please share this live. Share the links. Andrew's going to do a blast tomorrow. I'm going to be promoting her on the live in the morning. Let's get this book out here. This book is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And
And it's my own personal experiences.
it is. And growing up, I never felt like I fit in. If I had said someone out there that understood the strangeness, the tongue twister that is me, I might not have struggled so much with my faith as a young person. So, Andrea, talk about this book. Tell how it has helped you on your journey, as well as giving insight to others on their journey.
It has helped me try and understand more, and this is what's happening in this what I call the secular Christian world, the people that are outside the goth world. And I know they might not like that, but the behaviors of some of the Christians I see in the mainstream Christian world make me question. It's like I had posted, if you had a choice to be left behind with the rapture, knowing what you're going to be in for, if you had a choice, would you choose to stay? And I said that I would. And I said, I understand what that means before anyone, oh, you don't know what that means. It's going to be hell on earth. Well, duh, it's not going to be a trip to a theme park. It's going to literally be hell on earth. I had a Christian from the secular world tell me that my attitude was laughable, that my question was idiotic and laughable, and that no one in their right mind would ask such a thing, and no one should ask such a thing. And this is one of the things I address in my book, what I call demons wearing halos. These people who claim to be Christian, but they get their jollies by judging, demeaning, being hateful to, and tearing down fellow Christians they don't agree with. It's also prevalent in the Christian Goth community. I have a friend who has, and I myself too, have been called a false prophet because we don't think the way they think we should. So this book, Welcome to Crowhaven Chapel, all of these stories go into, I won't say detail because that makes it sound like a textbook, but it's fictionalized stories of things that I've actually had happen to me, even as a minister. These are things that I have personally experienced, and I thought I was alone, but it turns out I'm not. And there's going to be the constant battle, because I was speaking with a fellow minister friend of mine who said, "Oh no, people like that, you just need to let it go. You just because you want them to come back. You don't want to turn them off." And I said, "No, actually, that's not the goal. The goal is they need to learn you don't run around mistreating people in Christ's name.
That is very true.
And these people need to learn a lesson. They need to learn that you don't claim you're doing the work of the Lord Jesus Christ and demean people and put people down, because my mother pounded this into my head growing up. And this is something that I'm hoping to get across to some of these people that believe, oh, well, you just block them. You don't say anything back to them. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Because you do not allow demons in halos to take Christ's word and twist it all around and make it something evil and use it as a weapon. My mother used to tell me all the time, because people had said it to her growing up, I see how you Christians act. Why do I need your God? I don't act like you do. I act a whole heck of a lot better than you do. So what do I need God for? If that's how you're going to act, if you're saved and you're a Christian, then I don't need it. And every single day I am seeing what my mother told me come true in ACEs. So that's why this book is so important to me. We're supposed to be held to a higher standard.
Hmm.
And the Christian God community is no different.
That is true.
So that is, I'm hoping to reach people. And before people knee jerk or judge, I'm hoping people will stop and be like, okay, how can I phrase this to where I can disagree, but I can open a dialogue and we can talk about it and we can continue to disagree, but we can still be servants of the Lord without alienating each other, causing hard feelings, and turning off people to Christianity. That's what I'm hoping to do with this book. And someone said to me just the other day, oh, yeah, not full of yourself or anything, are you? What, you think you're just going to change people all by yourself? And I'm like, I'm not changing anybody. Anybody changes, it's going to be because the Lord has spoken to them.
Yeah, all you do is plant the seed. That's all you
Exactly.
do. And
Exactly.
people that make statements like that, I've learned in my 74 years of living, people that make statements like that are really insecure in their own faith or lack thereof. They
Exactly.
either don't have any faith and they're looking for something, but they're not sure what they're looking for, or they have a little faith that they pull out and put it on in the time of crisis, and once that crisis is past, oh, they're back to, oh well, I'm okay now, I don't need it anymore. And
Exactly.
you either have faith or you don't, and faith is something that you don't have to go around talking about because people see it in your actions.
Right. Right. And unfortunately, in so many of these people's actions, and I finally just ended up telling the person, I said, you know, look, I could pray for you, but as long as you are wallowing in the joy that doing Satan's work is giving you, there's nothing me or anybody else can do for you. And that's unfortunately what a lot of these people in the Christian community are, they're actually furthering when they tell people, oh, just walk away, just block them, just don't say anything back. No, you're allowing these people who are wallowing in the work of Lucifer, gleefully wallowing, to spread this evil and this malcontent in the name of Jesus Christ. And I had someone say to me the other day, well, you know, this is end times. You know, this is supposed to happen. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, I do. I know this is supposed to happen. I know it's going to happen. And I'm going to go down kicking and screaming every step of the way.
And that's another thing that folks don't understand. The end of time started when Adam and Eve sinned in the garden. That was the beginning of the end of times. We don't know when he's coming back. The best we can do is the best we can with what we have and lean on him for grace. And it's his grace, not ours. And people forget that.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is why this book is so important. If it reaches one person who is struggling and it melts one heart that God has been waiting on, then everything that Andrea has done, she is just a vessel. And she will tell you, she's just a vessel. This is not her work. It's God's work. And she is just the one that's saying, okay, here it is. I can't open your brain and pour it in and pack it in and sew your brain back up and you'll be okay. We all have free will, right? And in having free will, it's going to be up to whoever reads the book with understanding and an open heart to know what is being said. Is that a fair
Absolutely. That is absolutely because I don't want to stand before the Lord and have him say to me, hey, remember that person that was jumping all over you on YouTube with one of your questions or one of your whatever, and you blocked them, you let it go, you didn't say anything back to them. Do you know that somebody came and read what they said and then thought, okay, well, yeah, she must be a false prophet, then I'm doing just fine. I don't need God after all. And now that person is burning in hell because you didn't stop that demon wearing a halo.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we talk about. Everything that we do touches not just those in our small circle. It touches, especially in this day and age, it touches people we don't even know. This is why we created Midnight Publishing. And again, before we get into the pirating aspect, we're going to introduce some people. In the last week, exactly 1 week and 1 day, we have brought on two more authors. One of them is writing a fairy book that we talked about last week, where she is going to build the books as the children grow. The other one, she also lives here in town, and she is writing a true crime book that happened to her family. And she got my name from another friend of mine who I have already published, who wrote a children's coloring book called Butler and Lester, Enemies No More. And this is how we are growing. We are growing as God intended, in the time that God intended. And we are growing because we give back. There's an old adage that to be someone's friend, you do things with never expecting anything in return. And Andrea will tell you, Midnight Publishing does so many things for their authors. We don't charge, and we don't expect anything in return. We do it because we're dream makers.
And I tell people, I have another publisher. You've done more for me with the books of mine that you have since I signed up with you than they've done in the 3 or 4 years they've had my previous books in just the short time I've been with you.
And we do what probably no other publisher does, especially on the indie side. Number one, we don't charge. And number two, I create the covers, don't charge. Do the editing, don't charge. Put the books up on all 4 formats if they're applicable, don't charge. promote the daylights out of the authors, and we are a family. And it's important that we stay a family, that we promote each other. Andrea and I are back to old school where we promote each other. Mary Brotherton is another one. We promote each other because that's how we know it works. It ain't broke, and we ain't fixing it. Am I
Exactly.
right?
You
So,
are right, because the old ways are still just as applicable as they ever were. People just don't realize it because they weren't there like
and
we were.
and we don't have egos. We
Oh,
we're
yeah.
we're not in this business to tear someone else down. We're in this business to build each other up. We have
And
a
we jump at any opportunity there is to promote. Any
exactly
opportunity.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I tell these authors, if you've got something that you're putting on your page, put it on Midnight Publishing. This is their page. It's I'm just the vessel. If they need to promote an event, they need to promote where their book's going to be, put it on the page, because this is where we want the traffic to come. Because everything goes on the page, then it goes out all over the world. And literally, we are at on the website. The website's been up maybe 2.5 months. We are at 1,000 views on that site all over the world in 3 months. So given time, and we don't want things coming at a snowball rolling downhill pace. We want it to grow steadily. We want it to grow slowly, because slow and steady wins the race. Just remember that. Slow and
And if
steady.
it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. And we ain't broke. I might be old, but I ain't broke. Not yet.
You're going more now than you did when we were young, woman.
Well, there is that. There is that. So now, what I want to talk about is there are companies out there, ladies and gentlemen, and I was just scrolling through some of them. You see them on Facebook all the time, that have literally pirated our books. And what they do is they pirate them for Audible, for Kindle, and for downloads. And you go to that particular site and you get free books. Now, we don't have, as indie authors, we don't have the money and the resources to stop this. It took musicians how many years to stop the pirating of their music? A long time. Same thing with movies. What people don't understand is every time a book, a song, or a movie is pirated, the people involved in that art form don't make any money. Because
Right. And you're not talking, we're not Hollywood celebrity A-listers.
no,
When you sell a book, your cut of that book isn't $20,000 or $30,000. You know, it's difficult to have sympathy for an artist that's making millions of dollars a year or is played on mainstream radio, or their downloads have surpassed 1 million, or their streams or anything like that. For us indies, that doesn't happen.
no,
Because if you're getting that many views, downloads, streams, whatever, then you're no longer an indie.
no, you are, as they say, you are a professional. Well, we're
Right, you're a star. You're right, you're a star. You're a celebrity then. And so what you're saying is absolutely true. We as indies cannot afford to have our work put out there for free. Now, I found a website, and I can't remember the name of it. And I was just aghast when I found it. But then I got to looking at it really close. It's been up for a number of years, and I just leave it because if anybody happens to stumble across it, they'll see what a prolific career I have. But they have listed every single book I've ever written or been involved in, whether it was a serial novelization, whatever, every single thing. I mean, I don't know who these people got to do their research, but every single thing I've ever written. But they're not offering any of it for sale. Now, if people want to do that, if people want to put a page up for us indies,
Please
yes,
do it.
please do it. But do not pirate, copy, redistribute, whatever our work, because we are not A-listers. We don't, Yvonne is our agent.
Yep.
I consider Yvonne my agent because I even have on one of my social medias repped by Midnight Publishing because Yvonne is my representative. But that doesn't mean that she's pulling down $150,000 a month.
Oh, I wish. No, I
So
don't.
that's why. Yeah. Well, that would be from just one book. You're not pulling down 150,000 each book. So that's why it's so important that if you see a book being offered somewhere, check with Yvonne. She's always got her phone on her. Ask her, hey, Yvonne, did you authorize this site to sell this book? And then Yvonne has contacts that most of us could never even dream of having. She could get a hold of someone or send a letter out herself and say, hey, look, I didn't authorize this. See, and you might think, oh yeah, well, people aren't going to do that. Yeah, they will, because I do AI music, but I also use public domain music. And there is this one amazing site that has nothing but public domain music. You cannot copyright it. Well, there are some music groups that have taken music from this site and they have put a copyright on it, which you cannot do. That defeats public domain. And some of my work was getting flagged because it contained this music. So I contacted the man that actually owns the site that put all of the free public domain music on there. And I said, hey, look, these people, I said, I'm just letting you know because I think you should know because this is your music. This is yours that you donated to public domain. They have put a copyright on it and they're saying that other people can't use it. The man emailed me back and thanked me and said, yeah, I've had a problem with these people before. I will take care of it. Next thing you know, I'm getting an email from, it was a professional music company.
What?
I was getting an email. Yes, it was a professional music company copywriting this music. I got an email saying, we're going to put your name on a whitelist, and anytime your name pops up, we're going to know that you've used only public domain music. You won't have to worry about this anymore. So don't think if you take a moment to drop Yvonne an email and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know, I found one of Andrea's books, one of your books, one of Jason's books, whoever. I found it on this website. There's no cover on it. Because that used to be a big thing they would do. They would think that because they didn't put the cover on it, it was okay. And I'm just wondering if you authorize this. Then Yvonne can go with her contacts and be like, hey, excuse me, I don't think so.
Cease and desist.
But she can't do it if people aren't letting her know. Right.
And the thing, the thing is,
Yvonne, look what I found. You gotta stop it.
the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, my authors, and I call them my authors because I nurture them. I watch over them. I promote them. And I know there's a lot of eyes in there, and I don't mean for it to be just me alone because we all take care of each other. But as I tell my children, even though they're grown with children of their own who have children of their own, I'm the matriarch of that clan. And you don't mess with the matriarch. So, Midnight Publishing, these guys consider me the matriarch. And you don't mess with the matriarch. You get in trouble.
Yes.
Especially with
Yes.
this
So
stuff
if
that I
anyone
was
sees, yeah, if anyone sees anything pirated that belongs to Midnight Publishing, because Yvonne makes it very clear what platforms she has our work on. If
Yep.
you see it someplace else, just drop her a quick email, or if you're on her Facebook or her Instagram, drop her a quick DM
Because I
and
will.
just ask.
Let's just say that they will remember us forever. People in the village thought that Murder in the Village was different. Pirates haven't met me yet. I took on an entire county of family and children's services, and Andrea was there for that for many years. I went after a judge, and I went after supervisors, I went after social workers, and they're no longer there. Don't know where they went, but they're no longer there.
They met you. They couldn't run. There was no place they could hide from you.
So, pirates beware. I know that we have books out there that you all are pirating, and I know that I for every mousetrap I build, you're going to build a bigger mouse. But understand this, we are watching you, we will find you, and we will get you. It's that
And don't think that just because you don't put the cover on the book, that means anything. Remember that one place, I can't, this was 20 years ago, so I can't remember it, but remember the one place that was stealing all of our books off of Lulu? Most of us were using Lulu at the time, and they were stealing our books off of Lulu.
Yep.
And putting them on their site and charging like $2 a piece for them.
Yep.
Remember that?
What they would do is they would download them into a PDF file, or they would put them up there and have all the money sent to them. And I don't know where they got the books at that time, because Kindle wasn't even out then.
Oh no, there was no Kindle, so I'm not sure where they were getting them.
But they were having fun pirating our books way back then. But now
we got them shut down too, though.
But now with the ease of Amazon, what a company will do is they will download a Kindle version. They will translate it to a PDF file. They will upload it to their company website. Then they will offer it to the reader as a PDF file. Same thing with Audible. They will download an Audible book. We get paid for it one time. Then they upload it to their website and offer it to folks as an Audible.
Yes. And then Yvonne gets no more money. The author gets no more money.
And it's wrong, because these authors, this is not a hobby, ladies and gentlemen. Contrary to what some folks say, this is not a hobby. So tired of people saying, oh, well, it's nice you have a hobby. It's not a hobby. It hadn't been a hobby for a very long time.
How can someone think being a publisher's a hobby? Would they go to Penguin Putnam, or who are some of the other big publishers? Would they walk in the door and walk up to the CEO of that company and be like, what a nice hobby you have here?
I got nothing.
So
I know.
why would they think that you, when you do everything and you market us clearly? Let me make this clear, people. Let me make this absolutely clear. Yvonne markets us like we have been published through a New York Times best-selling company. That is how Yvonne markets us. No other. And let me tell you, I have been with publisher after publisher after publisher. In my heyday, I think I was with 5 or 6 different publishers. And they all thought they were the cat's meow, and they weren't. And even them thinking they were so awesome didn't do a quarter of what Yvonne is doing right now. So anyone that thinks that midnight publishing is a hobby has no idea what the publishing industry is about, because what Yvonne does is not a hobby. It is,
It's a business.
if you were to pay, because believe me, I've looked into it. Now that I have Yvonne, I don't have to look into it anymore.
No.
I was looking at getting a publicist and an agent possibly to book me for like events and things. Okay, well, I've got the publicist handled. That's Yvonne.
Now,
Publicists today, not all of them follow. There's an unwritten rule
mhm.
in the publishing world with publicists and agents. It's in their best interest to get you out there, because they get paid according to how much you sell,
Yep.
how many events you attend, if you get a per diem,
Yep.
if you get a flat fee. Okay, Yvonne does all of that, and all she gets is what she gets if your book sells. Now let that sink in. You're talking to someone who is a previous Borders brick and mortar #1 bestseller. And let me tell you, you are not going to find, even in the traditional publishing world, what Yvonne does
Thank you, honey.
for us. That's why it is so important, if you see these books being pirated, no matter what form, drop Yvonne a message.
Let me know. Because as you see on this live, our logo is there. On everything we do, it has either our logo or our name or our all things books and publishing. If you see anything else, and we will also add the imprints, the small hours, the spiritual inspiration, and who knows what other imprints we will add, but the main logo is always going to be Midnight Publishing, because that's who we are. We are, and I'm not saying me by myself, because it's not about me. It's about these guys. It's about their dreams and their hopes, their goals, their aspirations, their stumbles, and then they get back up. You have, if you're, I would venture to say, Andrea, that 99% of the population has a shoulda, woulda, coulda fall. I should have done this. I could have done that. I would have done that. Well, we are not a shoulda, woulda, coulda file.
Absolutely.
We are a let's get her done file. Andrea sends me a book, and she will tell you it's usually up and done within a couple of weeks, from
Oh, yeah.
editing to
I
cover.
sent you Welcome to Crowhaven Chapel, and the only thing that I did different from normal was I had the cover in mind because I had a specific cover in mind for it. The woman, the goth woman holding the Bible with the crow on her shoulder and the church in the background. But normally, even when you have to do the cover, it's like bing bang, oh, here you go, here's your cover, and we're on our way. And I'm like, whoa, what?
Because see, she only had the front cover. When she sent
Yeah.
me the book, I put together the spine and the back cover. I said, "What do you think?"
Oh yeah, because I was like, have at it with the back cover. I've got nothing because I put all of my effort into the front cover. As for the back cover, yeah, whatever, do whatever.
And
And if I could just interject one more thing that might help with the whole pirating thing, and and like I said, Yvonne getting what she's due is why I'm harping on this and why this is so important. Please, please, fellow Midnight Publishing authors, let's start promoting each other. Like Yvonne says, I might not know somebody, or I might not read what you write, but I bet you, because I've got all kinds on my friends list, I might know someone that is interested in what you write. I'll share your stuff, and not the at sign and followers. No,
no,
that is spamming. That's not tagging people or asking people to cross promote with you. When you do the at followers, that's spam.
yeah.
Yeah. I've gotten to where I block people that do that because when I see that, that's what is known in many industries as a cattle call.
Yeah, and we don't want cattle calls.
Right. There's no personalization. There's no thought of cross promotion.
Right.
There's no thought of helping out. It's me, and I want to make sure that you see it, so I'm going to spam you. No,
Yeah,
no.
that's not how we work here.
Grab someone. All you have to do is message me on Facebook. Hey, Andy, I have this book coming out. Would you mind? And Yvonne can tell you, I am the queen of getting it done old school way when it comes to like getting it out there. I will get on there, Facebook, Instagram, every place else and say, hey, this is for my fellow Midnight Publishing author. This is what he, she writes. Give them a look if it's something you're interested in. And this too will help hopefully curb the pirating.
Oh, I hope
because we will have such a monopoly on the promotion of Midnight Publishing authors. Yvonne will be too visible.
And that's what we want. We want Midnight Publishing visible. And
right.
Andrea,
then people will be like, whoa, okay, you know what? Midnight Publishing, they're everywhere. You might not want to mess with them because their authors big time promote each other. Yvonne Mason, the owner, she promotes all of her authors. They're constantly going back and forth on every social media platform. You might want to find somebody else to pirate.
And on that pirating thought, for a while, and I don't know if it's still as prominent as it was a couple of years ago, other so-called authors were pirating portions of people's books and plagiarizing them and putting them in their books.
And we know one person who was doing that to a fault and got busted for it and still said it was their work. And because I remember you and I discussed this. We were talking about this. We were talking on the phone about this. You're talking 20 some odd years ago. We were talking on the phone about this because I had someone else call me on the phone too and say, I'm not sure what to do. I was sent a copy of this book to review And I actually know, as in personally, have sat down, had dinner with, know this person, and who wrote the actual book. And this person has plagiarized their work word for word. I'm not sure what to do. So I remember that very well.
And that is a lawsuit because every one of our books, I make sure on not the title page, but the page opposite the title page where we talk about this is a work of fiction or this is a true crime or yada, yada, yada. Every one of our books are copyrighted and dated.
And I even put in Crowhaven Chapel that if you have any part of it that you're interested in, you have to go through Yvonne. Usually I will say, I'll put like a general thing in there, no part of this book can be disseminated, whatever, without the author and or her representatives. No, this time I put Yvonne front and center. And I said, if you want to do anything with Crowhaven Chapel, you have to go through Yvonne.
Because if we find
Because
out,
I did this in anticipation of the pirating thing Yvonne and I were going to be talking about, because I had honestly forgotten all about that, the pirating thing.
it's rampant in everything.
Yeah.
In art and music and books, but it is especially heinous when you do it to indie authors because these guys, they don't have bucket loads of money. I'm going to tell you, when I was paying for book covers, one book cover cost me $400. One book cover. An editor will run you anywhere from $150 to $1,000 depending on the word count.
And a publicist to get word out about your book, that's almost a name your price thing.
So, and if you want it your book put on Audible under the Axe Audible thing where you go in and you listen to the different voiceovers. The one book that I did that, it cost me $450. That's why when AI came out and Amazon said, "Will you beta test this?" I was all for it because it's another help for my authors. Is it a real voice? No, it isn't, but they're getting better and better to where the inflection is there, the intonations are there, and it's not, you can't even tell it's AI anymore. So understand, we don't make that money back. There's no way we can make that money back. Number one, there's too many books out there. And number two, if I had the money, Andrea, to go on Roku and place ads for you guys, I would do it in a New York minute.
Oh, I know. I
And
know. That's why I wish there was somehow we could get some in true indie publishing magazines. It kills me when these people talk about, oh, we're an indie magazine, and you look on their Instagram profile and they've got 50, 60, 70,000 followers. It's like, no, sorry. That doesn't make you an indie magazine any longer. You're an indie magazine if you've got under 1,000 followers.
there you go.
That makes you an indie magazine because you're struggling and you're hungry and you know what it's like to be us.
And there is a deeper appreciation of this business within the indie community. I'm not so sure. I'm going out on a limb here because you and I have been around a long, 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 long time. The newbies that are coming up, they don't understand the struggle that we went
No,
through.
they don't, because they think that it's okay to pay for everything. Oh, you've got this scammer that approaches you on Instagram and says, for $50 a month, they'll give you 5,000 impressions and all this. That's the new world.
And the thing is, they're never going to make that money back. They're going to go deeper and deeper into the hole until they quit. That's a dream that has failed.
Yeah. That's why our way works.
Yes.
It doesn't involve money, you know, tagging someone, asking someone to promote. Yeah, you might not sell. See, the problem with everybody today, and I know you know this, is everybody wants everything now, 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 now. And that's not how it works. Remember the banner exchanges we used to have back in
Oh
our day?
yeah.
And how you would beg everybody, go click the banner, and everybody be clicking the banner, and your banner would move up as people clicked it. Okay, that was time consuming. Yeah. You had to ask people to do it. Yeah. But it didn't cost anything, and
And
you
it worked.
didn't have to, as you so properly put it, there was no worry about having to make money back.
It's,
That's why our way works.
it works beautifully. And the author that I talked to last Wednesday, when I talked to her first on the phone, she kept saying, "So how does this work?" And I kept explaining it to her, and she kept saying, "How does?" And I finally said, "Look, any royalties you make are yours. I am not taking any royalties that you make. They're yours. You earn them. I make your dream come true because I don't charge." Ladies and gentlemen, I am on this computer from the time I get up until my mind says, if you do one more thing, I'm going to shut down and you're going to forget who you are. And sometimes in the middle of the night, I'm not sleeping because I'm going, okay, what have I got to do tomorrow? How am I going to, who do I get to promote tomorrow? How many times have I got to promote? What have I got to put up? My mind is always working for these guys because these
But
guys,
that's another reason why it's so important for us to cross promote too, to
yes,
try to take some of the burden off of you, because even traditional publishers don't promote as much as you do. That's why I can't stress enough how important it is that midnight publishing authors stop sitting on the sidelines and start saying, "Hey, do you know anybody?" Even if I don't,
somebody does.
maybe, right, maybe somebody on my friends list knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. And you never know what one, and I cannot say this enough, and Yvonne knows this too. When I started out in 2003, started getting serious about my writing, I found a website that would offer people that they could put poetry on
Mm-hmm.
the site. You just send it to the person and they would put it up. That was where I started. The website maybe got 5 views a month, but my work was still up there.
Yep.
And then I found a site, and I used that website when I sent them a story. I said, "I've had my poetry published on this website." That's not shameful.
No, it is not.
Anytime you get exposure, that's not shameful. And then the place took my story, and I don't know who saw it, but by 2005, I was a Borders #1 bestseller. So don't think, and I hear so many people say this, yeah, but that's a waste of time and nobody's going to see it. Okay, you know what? I don't know who saw my work, but all of a sudden, here I was in the big time.
And
And
this is
that was because I didn't say, "Oh, you only get 5 views," because they, back in the day, remember we used to have the view count things that would be at
yep.
the bottom of websites if you built them yourself. And it would be like, "Views this month, 5," on the website. I didn't sit there and say, "Oh, you only get 5 views a month? Oh my gosh, what a colossal waste of my time. I deserve better." You can't have that kind of attitude and be in the publishing industry. And unfortunately, so many people do today. And until we start banding together and promoting each other and turning midnight publishing into an absolute megalithic publishing house, the danger of your work being pirated is going to be there.
Exactly. Well, some of my stuff is already there. I found some of my true crimes already on pirate sites. And for a minute, it made me ill. But I've also found out that while they're on pirate sites, the one book in particular that's been on TV so much, every time it's rerun on the ID channel or the Oxygen channel, the sale of that book kicks back up. But on that same vein, if readers, if you buy a book that you really, really like and you want to tell someone about that book and encourage them to read it, please don't lend it out. Show them where they can go buy it. Because every
Yes,
time,
but it's not like Yvonne is charging $40 or $50 a book.
no, our books are very reasonable,
Yes, they
extremely
are.
reasonable. And the big picture of things.
Especially the ebooks.
Yes.
There are some places I've seen ebooks that people want $15 for an ebook.
You can buy a hardback for that or a paperback for that.
Yeah, and Yvonne's ebooks are giveaway price.
Pretty much.
Yeah, they are. But yeah, I am so glad that I was able to come on here today and talk about this with you, because I had no idea. I mean, I figured that pirating was still around, but I was hoping that in this big technological age, it would get lost in the cracks. But obviously it hasn't. So the fact that we need to turn Midnight Publishing into a colossus, a juggernaut that cannot be stopped. And in order to do that, us authors have got to band together to put Queen Yvonne so high on the pedestal that the pirates are like, nah, and they walk on.
If you watch your Facebook page, you will see Facebook pages that offer these sites. They pop up on mine all the time. And bless their hearts, folks don't know better. And I am not, let me do a disclaimer here. I am not a non-proponent of someone who is poor and not being able to afford a book to want to read. That is not what we are about. We are about people that make it their life's work because they can afford to buy that book, but they're too cheap to buy it.
Yes. And I'm going to go out on a limb here. I might be wrong. If I am, just tell me to shut up. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, if someone contacted you and said, I don't have a Kindle, I can't afford a Kindle, but I do have an Adobe Reader on my computer. I don't even have a cell phone because I'm poor. I don't have a tablet because I'm poor, but I do have Adobe Reader on my computer. Is there any way I could buy a reasonable copy of a PDF from you to read on my Adobe Reader? I would bet just about any amount of money that you would say, yes, can you afford, here's what I can offer you the PDF for.
I would send it to them for nothing.
There you go. There you go. So absolutely no excuse in people not reading.
I have given away more books in my lifetime to people that really could not afford to buy the book, and I knew they wanted that book.
Yes, that's why my self-published ebooks are free, and they're in PDF format. That way anybody can read them anywhere.
At any time.
That's what we do. That is what we do, because you know why? What is it? What is it that why we do the things we do?
We're paying it forward.
Works. Yes, and it works.
It works. It works.
It has worked since 2005 when you and I first met, and it still works in 2025.
So please, if you see a pirating site, let one of us know. For my authors, we are getting 3 new authors back to back. In the last 3 weeks, we have gotten an author a week. To me, that's a God wink moment. That's God saying, okay, y'all got this. You can do this. So please, ladies and gentlemen, I'm begging. Support these guys. Cross
And
promote.
support each other. Let's
Support
support
each
each other. I am not going to be happy, Yvonne. You know, I already tell people I let my publisher keep every single penny of my royalties. I tell people that all the time, and people are like, "What? You don't take any money for your books? My books published through Midnight Publishing? I do not. Don't want any royalties? Don't need them. I am getting paid in all the publicity you give me. I don't mind telling people that. I do not mind telling people Midnight Publishing is my publisher, and I am not going to be happy until Yvonne has to hire a secretary because she's so busy.
Who knows where God's going to take us?
I'm not going to be happy until people are talking about Midnight Publishing in the same vein as some New York big house publisher.
See,
Because that's what Yvonne deserves for all the work she does. And the only way we can make this happen is if we start supporting each other. Don't let my Facebook profile scare you. Don't let my Instagram profile scare you. I don't bite. Contact me.
well, I do, but I've had my shots.
I will share your link. I will. And I'll write up a whole nice little thing about you saying, here's a fellow Midnight Publishing author. If you know anyone who likes this, send them this person's way. That is how we will enable Yvonne to continue doing what she's doing.
And I do it for the love of you guys. This is what I've had people ask me, why do you do it? Well, I do it because we're dream makers. And Andrea and I both have been in the bottom of that barrel where we've been rejected by publishers, we've been rejected by who knows what. And now we're at a point in our lives that we can help lift up people, help lift up the dreamers. And this is what we want to do. We want to make your dream real. So I know Mary Brotherton's really good about cross promoting and about getting with all the other authors. She'll be back next week too. And we have to get our other authors in that mode. I know my little Peggy Engler down in Fort Pierce and Alta, they don't know how. But then Peggy's 80 years old and works a full-time job, so I don't worry so much about her because I promote her anyway because she and Isaac were the first 2 I published before you and Jason came on.
Yeah.
But those of us that are tech savvy, and I'm not just talking about authors, I'm talking about our readers. Promote my authors. If you've read one of their books, put it out there. Post a review on Amazon. And I'm going to tell you what we do. If you want to be snarky and post a nasty review for whatever reason, maybe somebody pissed in your Wheaties, I don't know. We will take that review and we will flip that and we will generate sales that you never saw coming because that's how we roll.
Exactly.
Just say it.
Exactly.
So beware if you want to put up a nasty review because that was not your type of book. Beware. We will flip that review and make it work for us.
Because that's where Yvonne and I come from.
Exactly.
We come from a world back in the day where it was, if you wanted to be an author, you jumped in the Shark Tank and you had a cut and there was blood in the water.
We take no prisoners.
That was how it was.
if you if that is not your genre, that's okay. But I bet you know somebody that it is their genre. My sister, before she died, every time a book by Anne Rice came out, she read it before she gave it to me. It would be my Christmas present, but she would read it. That was not her thing, but she read it because of me.
Right. And you can leave an ambivalent review without being nasty.
And
You can say, you can start out, there is no shame in starting out a review saying, I'll tell you right off the bat, this book was not for me. This is not what I read. However, the character development was rich. I liked the descriptions in the book. Uh, it had a, the visuals weren't for me, but at least they were there. You can find something ambivalent to say without trashing the author.
read with an open mind.
Yes, there's no need to trash anything
Well,
unless it is just so wretchedly awful and depraved and sick that you just think that it should be burned. There's a way to leave a neutral, ambivalent
review.
review. And authors respect that.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll still take it and flip it and make it work for us because again, that is how we roll. Understand that our craft is our craft. We do not write for, and I'm going out way out on a limb here. We write what our characters tell us to write. And unless you are an artist that is in art and painting and music and writing, unless you understand that concept, you're going, what the hell are they talking about? Are these people psycho? No, our characters are real for us. They talk to us, they tell us what to write. And you may not appreciate a certain character in a book. That's okay. But understand, it is the character. It is not the author. If you have an angst against the author, I suggest you take it up with the author face to face. They may chew you up and spit you out, but take it up with them face to face. Don't be a keyboard warrior because we will flip that one too. That is what we do. I'm telling you, that is what
And,
we
and, and let me just throw this out there too. Unless things have drastically changed, don't think you are going to trash an author and people will stop reading their work.
Oh no.
I knew every time someone was out there trashing my work and me because my sales would go through the roof. My sales had gone through the roof one time and I was like, I haven't done any cons lately. What's going on? And someone messaged me and said, hey, I just thought you should know there is this thread started about you. And this website, these people are all, they hate indie authors. They're all pro-traditional publishing. I went there and there had been a hate thread started specifically about me. Every person that had gone and read all the trashing, first thing they did was go out and buy my book to see if I was as bad as these people were saying. So don't think that you're going to trash an author. There was a popular filmmaker back in the day. Everyone hated their movies. Every time one of their movies came out in the theater, people would go to see it just so they could trash it.
There you go.
And I would sit there at the cons because I would hear people talking about this filmmaker at the cons. And I would look at these people and I would say, do you realize that this person is laughing all the way to the bank? Your money in their pocket?
And
You
this
think
is
you're hurting them? You've just paid their mortgage for the month.
so again, people, your free will. You can write what you want to, but understand it doesn't matter what you write. We have very thick skins because we haven't gotten where we've gotten by being thin skinned, and we will take every word and make it work for it. Every single word and make it work for us. In fact, and you're going to love this one, the second in the sequel of Murder in the Village, I have taken some of the personal stuff in the negative reviews, and they become dialogue in the book.
That's awesome.
And duct tape, tarp, and a shovel. They become part of the book. They wanted to be famous. As Billy the Kid told the sheriff, I'll make you famous.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because we come from an era where if you let bad reviews bother you, you were done.
You're done.
Yvonne and I learned early on that you take negative publicity and you run with it. I had somebody tell me one time, I have never in my life seen anyone take negative publicity the way you do and make it work for you. And I'm like, that's how you survive in this industry.
It's all in perspective.
Yes. And if we do that for each other, if we promote each other, the negative publicity, even though it's useful, won't even matter because we'll all be elevating each other. And then Yvonne will be world famous. And that's what we want.
Don't you just love her? I do. And, okay, I'm going to end this show with this. I came from humble beginnings, and I am still this. Well, I'm not the same person because I've grown, but my mindset is still this. God granted me this ability. When my publisher died, I had the two people come to me and say, what are we going to do? Because I had sent them to Andrea Rhodes, and she had published Peggy's works and was getting ready to publish Isaac Jones's work when I get a private message from Jennifer Johnson going, oh, she died last night. What? We were getting ready to do a new anthology. And I'm going, well, that was not ending well. So these two people said, what are we going to do? We would probably never get published. So I came home, and Andrea knows how deep my faith is, and I prayed about it, and I thought about it, and I prayed about it some more, and this voice said, if not you, who? If not now, when? Now, I've been in this business for 20 years. There's always been somebody else that has done my covers, published my work, and I just wrote. It was time for this girl to step up for others. So that's what I did. I started with Isaac. I started with Peggy. Then I got Jason. Then I got Andrea. And Andrea says, I'm sending you everything. And I went, okay. And what? A month we had all of your books out that you had sent me? Boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
Back to back to
Yep.
back to back. And then she was sending me new stuff along with it. Then I got Mary Brotherton, and I got Alta Desinoid, and I got Kim Carmichael, and we got the three new ones. And Sherry Richardson. Oh, bless her heart. I'm telling you, this girl is blossoming. At one time, the only thing that I would see on Sherry's Facebook was a lot of negativity. I'm seeing this girl, she's done a complete 180 because two books that she had been dreaming about for 25 years, the Under the Dragon's Eye even longer, are now books.
Yes.
So I know Andrea's got to go because she's got to go check on her husband. Give him a hug for me. But ladies and gentlemen, understand this. This is what we do. And Andrea, thank you, my love.
Thank you. Love you so much. And let me know, tag me when all of this goes everywhere. And of course, I'll be sharing it like the prom queen.
Okay. And we're going to bring you back. So
Oh, yes.
this ain't over. So, ladies
Oh
and
yeah.
gentlemen, until next Wednesday at 11 o'clock, I'm your host, Yvonne Mason, with Midnight Publishing, with my co host, my friend, my other half, my soul sister. We wish you have the day you deserve. Bye bye.
Bye.